the Big B and Little T channel, and today we're going to be making some lentil and quinoa taco meat. And we're going to use just regular brown lentils that you get at the grocery store and some quinoa. I chose white quinoa, but you could choose the tri-blend or the red quinoa. It doesn't really matter. And we're just gonna get that cooked up today and show you how easy it is to make this. So what we've already done, I've already cooked the lentils and drained them. They'll cook just 1 cup of lentils, 2 cups of water, and you just cook them till they come up to a boil, and then just let them simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes until they've softened. You might need to add a little bit of water during the process, so you just keep an eye on them. And then we let them cool and then drain them completely. Then the quinoa, you're going to always rinse the quinoa because it'll have a bitter taste if you don't rinse it. So 1 cup of quinoa rinsed really well, and 2 cups of water in your saucepan. Bring it to a boil, then turn it down to a simmer and cover it and cook it for about 12 to 15 minutes until all the liquid is absorbed. And then we've let those both cool, and now we're going to put it together to make the recipe. I've already got my oven on. I'm preheating it to 400 degrees, and we'll put it on a baking tray lined with parchment paper and get it all seasoned up so it's going to taste like taco meat, but it's going to be vegan. So I'm going to take this bowl, I'm going to pour in the lentils that have been thoroughly drained. And they're soft, but they're not mushy. They still have their form, so I didn't cook them too long. Just about 15 to 20 minutes until they soaked up their liquid and were tender. And then the quinoa, it's kind of stuck to itself a little bit, but as it gets mixed together with the lentils, we're going to blend all together and we won't have any clumps of quinoa. Okay, we'll just set that to the side. And we're going to stir those together very well and get them mixed up and seasoned to taste like our taco meat. Now you could just, because it's both already cooked, you could just add the seasonings to this and eat it that way. But I think by putting it into the oven and roasting it a little bit, it's going to give it a little more of a crunchy texture, a little more hearty, so it's going to taste more like a taco meat texture and flavor. Okay, we've got it all stirred together now. The quinoa is combined with the lentils. Then we're going to add our seasonings. And I've got up here my little sticky note to help me. We're going to put in 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of cumin powder, and then a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and then optionally, we like ours warm, so I put a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And then you can season with your salt and black pepper. If you want black pepper, you can season that to taste. And so I've already got mine all measured out, pre-measured in this little glass dish. I'm just going to give it a stir around to combine all those spices. And then we're just going to spread it out over this and mix it up thoroughly so all that flavor can blend throughout the lentils and the quinoa. Anything with smoked paprika in it is going to taste very yummy. I like to put it on a lot of things. And chili powder and cumin, those are just 2 spices that go really well with taco seasoning. Okay, we've got that blended in pretty well. I've got my large baking sheet and I've lined it just with some regular parchment paper, non-stick parchment paper. And we're going to spread this mixture onto it. And just spread it out. It's going to make quite a bit because the quinoa and the lentils, when you cook them in the water, they at least double in size. out into an even layer. And then we're going to bake it in an oven that's at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to let it bake for about, I'd say 15 minutes before we check it. Then when it's done at 15 minutes, we're going to take it out. We're going to stir it around and let the parts that are on the bottom move to the top, and then put it back into the oven. So we're going to put this into the oven now, and then we'll check back here in about 15 minutes. I'll see you then. Okay, we just took it out of the oven. It was in there at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. I'm just going to take a spatula and I'm going to give it a nice stir. It's getting more brown on top, but the bottom is still quite moist. And we're going to put it back in for another 15 minutes, and then we'll check it again. We don't want it to be completely dried out, but we do want it to be a little roasty toasty. So we're going to give it another 15 minutes after we get it nice and stirred here. I'm just flipping it in sections. I can tell what part's been cooked because it's a little browner on top than it is underneath. And it may be such that you might want to spread it out over 2 pans because it is a little bit of a thick layer here. But we're going to keep going with it as it is. It's about a ½ inch thick in some spots because it's a lot of lentils and quinoa. But we're going to stick it back in the oven for 15 more minutes and then see how it is when we check it the next time. Here we go. So our timer just went off, and I've taken out the lentil and quinoa mixture for the second time. So altogether it has cooked for 30 minutes. We did 15 minutes, took it out, stirred it around, put it back in for another 15 minutes, and now it's come out for the final time. And as you can see, it has gotten quite nicely browned on the top. And if you're going to eat your dinner or your lunch right now, it is ready to serve. What I'm going to do, I'm going to let it cool completely, and then I'm going to store it in some covered containers in the refrigerator and use it all throughout the week in different things. It would be great on tacos and tostadas, inside burritos. If you want to dress up your nachos, it would be perfect for that. Just any way you could think to use taco meat, this would be ideal for. So I hope you give this recipe a try, and just let me know what you think. You can let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to hear from you.